Where's Iris now? It's a poison! That doesn't help the stress level! No, don't do it! Get a grip! This stupid video I just showed you! I almost stroked out and died over it! You're watching a different show! It's donkey! You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship! Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State, it's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. It is Halloween. It is Notre Dame, Boston College. There's a lot of drama going on around the country with all these coaching changes. Half the Notre Dame people apparently can't watch the game tomorrow now. We got a lot going on. I got to apologize. Johnny, I messed up. I ordered a Halloween costume to wear on this show, and it hasn't arrived yet. And it's my fault. I ordered it too late. I did rush shipping, and it's probably going to arrive sometime this afternoon, and I'm missing the show. So it's unfortunate. However, this costume's hilarious. So I'm not telling you what it is. We're going to save it till next year. It'll get put up in the basement, and when I do the Halloween show next year, it'll be hilarious. I'm not telling you what it is because I'm still going to wear it. It's just going to be a matter of if I have a stroke between now and next Halloween. It was really funny for a live show. And then the other thing is I got a bunch of masks. Bro, I'm sweating bullets in the mask. I can't hear. You can't hear me talking through the mask. I got multiple different Michael Myers masks. I got a haunted old nun mask that my mom told me would be sacrilegious to wear on the air. So I gotta get away from the masks because the masks just don't work for a live show because you can't hear me. I'm sweating. I'm like looking through the mask and it's like messed up. Anyways, I just couldn't make it happen. It didn't. I did that extra shipping where it's like $25, whatever, and it isn't here yet. I checked the tracking, so it's my fault. I got to it too late. And that's my bad. So you're going to have to forgive me. Usually I'm pretty good with Halloween fun. And so I couldn't make it happen. That's my fault. And also, all of you that predicted it are right. Johnny's yearly fall sinus situation has hit, baby. So your boy over here is eating Advil, cold, and sinus for breakfast. But a lot of you guys know me enough. You've been asking, when is that period of time going to hit John where he's all stuffed up for a month? We're getting there. So here's the thing. The costume thing, next year, it'll all be worth it. Trust me, it'll all be worth it because it's a hilarious outfit for what I do. Let's put it that way. So I'm just going to save it. And assuming I don't have a stroke on the air between now and a year, we'll be able to do it next year. So forgive me for that. So here's the deal. We got a lot going on today, guys. I already see a few of you guys waiting to hop on the air. I'm going to put the link right here. If you want to join, go ahead and hit the link and you'll be able to be backstage and we'll bring you up. And so there's a lot going on. I want to know how you guys are thinking and feeling about this Boston College game. Very, very interesting. Notre Dame, a huge favorite. They're 1-7. Their only win is against Fordham. They did play Louisville tough in their last game. I'm wondering if you think Notre Dame's going to come out of the off week fired up, ready to go, on a mission, ready to pile it on and prove a point. Or if any of you think Notre Dame's going to have to wake up. You know, it's been 2 weeks off. You're out of your routine. Now you got to travel and you're playing a 1-17 that doesn't excite everybody. I'm wondering what you think you're going to get out of this Notre Dame team. Are they going to be fired up and ready to go? I said it before. I'm going to say it again. The one thing you can't do when you go on the road against a 1-7 team that hates you is give them hope. We're going to get that right out of the way. You can't give a team like this hope. And what does that look like? Oh, it's 7 minutes into the second quarter and it's 7-6 Notre Dame. You cannot give a team like this hope. You need to end it early. Let them know whatever 93 visions you have, whatever 02 visions you have of Notre Dame fumbling 7 times in their slippery new green jerseys. No, absolutely not. And you know what I like about this? Here's what I like about this. If you're my age or older, I am about that window at 41 years old. I'm a man. I'm 40. At 41 years old, I'm at that window where just barely old enough to remember 93. Okay, and what I remember most about it is what my dad did to our house. That's what I remember about 93. It's shades of the game. But it's the maddest and most upset I've ever seen my dad in real life or football was that moment. So I got that scar tissue, the O2 scar tissue, whatever. You know who doesn't? Notre Dame's players right now. None of that. They weren't even around. It doesn't affect them. I'm thrilled about that. A guy like me is going to have that stuff in my head tonight, right? These guys aren't. And I think I got to trust. I talked about this on Monday Night Raw with Goolsby in great detail, and we went through it. I'd like to think Marcus Freeman has these guys ready. They know the mission. They know what's on the line. They know they got to win all 5 of them and maybe do it impressively. They know that. Now they've had 2 weeks to get their minds right, their bodies in better shape, healthier, and get going. But I like the fact that none of these guys were around for any of that BCBS. Not BKBS, that's different. This is BCBS. BKBS is something different. Unbelievable what Brian Kelly not being good enough coaching football has caused at LSU. Full-on political upheaval. Although, I very much want to talk about Notre Dame Boston College first. We could get to some of the Kelly stuff later. I got to admit, as much fun as I've had with the Kelly stuff, I'm getting a little sick of that guy and all the narratives with that guy. And then the trickle-down effect is the narratives of all these jobs being open. There's a lot there. And I am well aware of that post on a board about Freeman and LSU and all that. I have some very strong thoughts about that. So let's get into it. Let me get through the introduction. And I've tried to add a feature of 2. I don't have the Halloween costume, but I've tried to add a feature or 2, and I'm going to try it out, and we'll see if it works and if you guys approve of some of the little additions I'm going to make for this show, and we'll see if it all works right. It would only work for this show, but I think this group will appreciate the some little things I've come up with. As always, thanks for being here. You can find a program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't. I appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps John out as well. Notifications on that way you don't miss nothing. Twitter, search bar Always Irish, Always Irish. Audio only, anywhere you want it, you could get it. If you do not want to see John Kennedy's face, for the good Lord's sake, I don't blame you one bit. Go to audio only, anywhere you want it, you could get it. Notre Dame on SI. You may see I have an article posted on Sports Illustrated called "Thank You, Brian Kelly." Thank you, Brian Kelly is the title of my article. And I felt a need to try and be fair, but I balanced it out by getting some jabs in there along the way. It's a very interesting, I'm going to tell you this. Genuinely might be my favorite article I've ever written because it enabled me to get very clever about how to blend some things Brian Kelly did that were really important for Notre Dame with the misery he instilled in me in Notre Dame at the same time, and I was able to blend them together. Very intellectually awesome article to be able to put together. It was the most fun I've had writing. There was some freedom in the storytelling there. So check that out if you want. Patreon.com/ It's always Irish. We have a great team over there. I'm telling you, I love our content team. People love it. All the film reviews, the community chats popping at all times. Link in the description. Please join us for this final run. It's going to be a beautiful thing, you guys. And so let's get into this. Let's do Renee's super chat. Thanks a lot. Really, really appreciate it. $5 howler. I just got here. It's Friday. We got some treats for all these SEC trash media tricks. Max Bulla for press. I didn't expect that. Oh, man. So thanks a lot, Renee. And so let's see. Let's do a couple of these chats I highlighted early so we don't get by them. Tom Frawley, Chicago's very own. I'm absolutely fired up this morning. How's everybody doing? And Tom was, what else did Tom say? Look at this. He's not kidding. He's told me this story. The last time I wore a costume close to Halloween was when I dressed as a priest with the Roman collar and talked my way into the 1990 victory over Miami. He pulled the priest card. God, I love Tom. Look at this, Mikey pulls. John, you wanted to dress up as the Godfather from WWF, right? Yeah. I have the same look. I have the same aesthetic as him for sure. Yeah, the same frame. We're both the same tan level. I'm telling you, man, his entrance song still hits. Hit the Godfather's entrance still. You hear that? And you knew 13-year-old John knew what was coming next. All aboard. Oh, what a beautiful thing. But I used to love every time you heard that. And then you knew what was coming. Oh, man, that's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, let's get into this now. Early and often. I'm sure many of you know this. YouTube and Disney fighting is really ruining my weekend, looking like I won't be able to watch the game. Disney pulls ABC and ESPN from YouTube TV over a contract dispute. If that is how you consume Notre Dame games, you're probably going to have to figure out another way to get it done. I don't know if there's a bootleg thing on regular YouTube that shows the game, or you may have to do like the old days and a family gathers around the big radio console in the middle of the living room like when my dad was growing up. And you crank the dial, you put it in the middle, and everybody sits around and worries about Notre Dame. You might have to go old school, baby. You might have to go old school. I don't know what to tell you, but it's always something, isn't it? It's always something. Yeah, Mark, good call. This is one of those nights where I say, just don't drink and drive. It's just not worth it. I've seen it ruin too many people's lives personally and professionally. It is just not worth it. And especially in a world where everybody has access to a ride for like $20 on their phone, it's just not worth it, man. Too many friends I've seen this ruin their lives and their families' lives. And at the old graveyard job, every major holiday, I'm burying a bunch of people before their time. It is just not worth it. So I've seen what it does to these families. Just get a cab or walk or designate a driver, or get an Uber, do whatever you need to do, man. Show us your costume. We want to see your costume. Oh, man. You guys are fantastic. You think that Pat says, you think there's an Uber where I live? No, but you also live in a town where there's one cop. And so it's like, you probably figure that guy's asleep or at home or, yeah. I got college friends that grew up in a country town, and they'd be like, well, we know there's only one cop in the town, and he's parked in front of his house at 10 at night. We're free. But for those of you that live in like a booming metropolis, just take an Uber rather than drinking and driving and ruining your life and splitting your wig, man. Clayton, I got something for you. He says there are 7, and I know them all. I can also walk everywhere. Yeah, you can just go across the street, hit those bars, man. It's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. So you guys are going to have to deal with the ESPN thing, however that contract thing is, but I just don't want people to be surprised if they tune in for the game and they realize they can't get it. So that's quite unfortunate. And so Here, let's get this out of the way first, and then I see the callers here, and we'll get to you guys. I want to know your predictions for the BC game. I want to know your keys to the BC game. Here's a big general overall question. Does Notre Dame come out laser focused, full of energy, knowing the mission at hand and getting right after it? Or is this a deal where you're coming out of a bye, you're not playing a team that instills a lot of excitement in it, the fans are, whatever. Does it take Notre Dame a while to wake up? Dr. John, good morning, sir. Does it take them a while to wake up? I'm not here for that. I ain't trying to hear 7-6 into the second quarter. No. So I want to see if Notre Dame comes out ready to go, ready to roll early and often, or if they're a little sleepy. So that's what's on my mind early. Bill O'Brien's on his way out. Notre Dame will be locked in. Yeah, it's BC is always like an average middle team or whatever, but for them to be 1-7, a lot of things got to be going wrong. And so I want to know about your BC stuff. We'll get into that, your predictions, keys to the game, all that stuff. Here's another question. And Jack and I talked about this on the full Oppo preview on Patreon last night. I'll share a little bit of a teaser with you guys. We were talking about, does Notre Dame feel the need to pile it on these final 5 teams? There's all this debate. Is 10-2 Notre Dame automatically in the playoff? Is 10-2 in the playoff if other teams lose and Notre Dame moves back in, moves up? Is Notre Dame in at 10-2 if they catch a couple breaks and they pile it on these teams? That's a question I have. I would love to know behind the scenes if Notre Dame staff feels like they need to not just win, but kick the crap out of everyone. Right? There's a big difference between feeling like we just need to win these 5 games and we're in or whatever, versus we feel like we need to pile it on people and prove a point. Because there's not a lot of games in the back half of the schedule with a lot of flair and a lot of high rankings next to the opposition's name. If Notre Dame feels like they got to pile it on, how does that play out? How does that change the game plan from Mike Denbrock in terms of structure of what you want to call to move the ball, pile up points? And then it also gets into, when do you pull your first string? That's another interesting dynamic. If you feel like you need to blow teams out and you're winning by a lot, do you keep Jeremiah Love, J.D. Price in there, C.J. Carr in there? What if somebody gets hurt? Is that something you got to think about? Does it change how Denbrock schemes, looking at some of the defenses in the back half and feeling like he could let it rip? I don't know. And so I'm going to get to your guys' calls, and then I'll get into some of my keys to the game and what I'm looking for after, but I want to see what some of you guys think. First things first, let's address this. 87 people sent me that posting on some board about the smoke with Marcus Freeman and LSU. I got a hard time believing it. I don't understand the logical reason why Marcus Freeman would go to LSU. You turn down Florida. You turn down Penn State. I genuinely mean this. I don't see the angle of why Marcus would make a jump to LSU. Number one is, does LSU want to do the old Notre Dame pipeline again? Number two is, Freeman's one of them guys that could, with his age, it could command the 10-year guaranteed money. If you're talking to the governor or the coach or the AD, which is all the governor right now, apparently, if you're talking to the governor, it doesn't sound like they want to do a guaranteed contract anymore after Kelly burned them. And they want to do a lower buy-in and then incentives so that if you reach these goals, you get more money. So that part doesn't make sense. And then the other thing is, right now, Notre Dame's closer to a championship than LSU is. The right guy could get LSU back on track fast. But I just don't understand. Notre Dame is in closer proximity to a title than all these jobs that are open right now. Why would Freeman do 4 years of painful, grind work to get Notre Dame on the precipice only to leave and start over at Florida or do it somewhere else. The guy converted to Catholicism at Notre Dame, and now you want me to think for like even an extra $1 million or $2 million a year, he's going to uproot his whole family and everything he built to go to LSU and start it over and live in the weird awkwardness of Brian Kelly coming before you again? When I ask what would be the reason for him to do this and jump into this political mess down at LSU, everything's a mess right now. Complicated, a convoluted mess, way beyond the football field. Why would he do it? Oh, John, money. Marcus Freeman makes plenty of money. He's going to get rewarded at Notre Dame for what he's doing. They're going to try and keep him happy. He's got a gang of kids that now have roots in South Bend. Spent 4 years building Notre Dame to this point, and I'm supposed to think he's going to just scrap all that and start over? Right when you're about to get to the payoff years of all the work he's doing, that's the time? I don't believe it. Maybe I'm proven wrong, but I don't believe it, man. I just don't. I don't see the logic in it. I don't see the logic in it. And I don't think Marcus is one of these guys that's all about the money. So that's how I see it. But with all this media stuff,
don't let the media tell you how to think and feel.
Don't let the media tell you how to think and feel. You got it, Clayton's here. Don't let the media, and regarding BC.
If you have hate in your heart, let it out.
Let it out.
If you have hate in your heart, let it out.
And regarding the chat feature and everybody joining, if you have yourself muted.
I can't understand you.
I don't care if nobody else likes the sound drops. I love it. I absolutely love it. Don't let the media tell you how to think and feel. So that's where I'm at on this, okay? This is basically my soundboard, Jay Carr. I actually bought an actual, like, a console that you're supposed to be able to upload sound bites and then hit them. Bro, I've spent 1.5 years trying to connect it to my mixer. And I still can't figure it out. And I see some of you backstage with camera on. Some of you have camera off. If you want to show your face, you can do that.
We want to see your face.
Who said that? You want to see my face?
Come on, brother.
Who said that? You won't see my face? I don't care if nobody enjoys it but me. I am going to enjoy that and laugh. Okay? So I'm trying to add some entertainment value here. Anyways, so that's my thought on the LSU Marcus Freeman stuff. Good job by his agent probably for pushing a lot of this, being involved in some of this stuff. You want to pump up your guy, create leverage. I understand that. But the whole Freeman thing, it just doesn't make much sense to me. Talk to me when Ohio State is open. But I believe Marcus wants to see the mission through at Notre Dame, and then whatever else happens, happens. But I believe that. I believe that's what he wants to do. After that, then I don't know what to think. And it wouldn't surprise me if he goes back home to Ohio State eventually. But after the mission's done in Notre Dame, I genuinely think he wants to be here and see this through. But I did have 80 people send me that and ask what I thought. So that is my thought on that. And so I don't know. Very quickly, let me get into my 3 things I'm looking for. Then we'll go to the chat and we'll see how we're doing on time here. Okay. Number 1 is just the injuries. Nobody could help it. That we have over a dozen guys on the injury list. Goolsby was talking about on Raw. You can't afford another injury to the O-line. You're in real trouble. Like that, there's nothing anybody could do about it. I'm just hoping nobody else gets rolled up on or anything else like that. Number 2, CJ Carr has got to find some rhythm again. It's been a little choppy, up and down throughout this back 5 games against non-elite teams. I need Carr to find some of that rhythm and flow again so that offense is trending up. in mid-November. You pair that with the 2 running backs. That is a Notre Dame team nobody wants to defend in the playoff. If you have Carr in a rhythm, throwing, and you have those backs, that's a dangerous Notre Dame team to defend. And then, so that's what I need. I need Carr to find some of that again, and I'm hoping we see it tomorrow coming out of the off week. And then with the defense, keep getting better. Very, very simple. Just keep improving. Okay, they're doing a better job. They're tightening it up, like whatever. You need to keep trending up. What that looks like to me is less chunk plays allowed, less confusion on the back end. Now they're giving up 1 or 2 of these 42-yard crossers over the middle in a soft zone, and in every game, tighten some of that up. Don't fall for the false move on the in route, and then the guy breaks deep, and you break your ankles trying to guard him, all this stuff. Just keep trying to tighten it up a little bit. I'm not asking for perfection. You don't have to be perfect, but just keep making these gradual improvements, especially on the back end. That's some of the stuff I'm looking for. All right, let's get into some of you guys here. We'll have Chicago's very own. We got Mark. We got Adam. Anybody else? Join with the link. Good morning, Tom.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I am. It feels like Notre Dame hasn't played in a month, Tom. I'm ready to get back to Notre Dame football. It feels like a month since we played USC with all the other distractions and stuff going on. I'm ready to watch Notre Dame again.
Yeah, me too. I tell you, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow because, with all that's on the line, I think we're going to see Notre Dame's defense really turn up a notch tomorrow. I'm looking for Bryce Young and Boubacar Traore to finally have breakout games simultaneously tomorrow. Based on what I saw from the Boston College offensive line last week, even though they played pretty tough against Louisville. I watched the game twice. Most of the game I watched twice. I saw enough to where I don't think their tackles are athletic enough to handle Bryce Young. He's really going to be a disruptive force tomorrow, I believe, as is Traore. And I'm looking for Schuler, Leonard Moore. I'm looking for them to have big games tomorrow. I think that Grayson James throws 2 picks tomorrow. I really do. That kid's all over the board. He gets flushed out of the pocket.
That who's starting, Tom? I saw questions on which guy they were going to start. Do you think it's going to be the J? They both will throw you the ball, by the way. Both of them will they throw the ball in some dangerous spots. Both of them.
They do. Lonergan as well. So,
yep.
I really don't care as long as Notre Dame executes and takes care of business on both sides of the ball. And I think you'll see that. 28.5. That's a lot of or 29 points. It's a lot to cover, but I think they cover. I think it's a 48. I think it's a 48-17 type ball game. If I'm being, I really do. It's going to be windy tomorrow, from what they say. So, it's CJ. I think he steps back into it. The offensive line will give him time tomorrow. He'll have time to throw. So the rest is up to him, right? And then Sullivan Absher is a key tomorrow. I'm anxious to see all 6'8", 330 pounds of him just crush somebody. I mean, taking over for Billy Schrauth, those are big shoes to fill. But you got that kind of depth of talent. Let's see what he's got. I don't think he's gonna. I think he'll shine tomorrow. I really do. So that and like you say, I'm excited that they're back. They take care of business. Can they do enough to actually make the playoff committee fall in love with Notre Dame? I just think at the end of if they take care of business and they look good doing it, I think it's going to be awfully hard to keep Notre Dame out of the playoff. But if they do get get negated, I can guarantee you that Marcus Freeman will never make that mistake again. He'll have those teams prepared. That team will be prepared for the first couple of ball games next year. That I really would have liked. I really would have liked to known what happened in the preseason camp. There was some uncertainty there, and then going back to that game plan that Denbrock had in the Miami game for CJ. So
Tom, you know what I think about is one thing that we credited Notre Dame staff for in the offseason was their evaluations with recruits and with the guys on the team. They did a really good job with the evaluations. That is why it was so surprising that they thought some guys could play out there, especially defensively, that you learned the first 2 weeks couldn't. It was a little surprising because the staff's been good with evaluations, but they missed on a couple things.
Yeah, I think, and when we're talking about Marcus Freeman's future, and I think it's imperative for him. Now, his job isn't done at Notre Dame, right? So all this talk about him going to Penn State, LSU, wherever, he's not done at Notre Dame. And if I was Marcus Freeman, I would seriously go and now God knows if Mickens is going to be around next year. We don't know who's going to be on the staff next year, but I would certainly seek out some really young, dynamic coach that I could groom underneath me to teach him the Marcus Freeman way, to teach him the Notre Dame way, and then start to build. He needs to start building that coach's room up. Obviously, he's got Denbrock as an anchor, and that's a great anchor to have. I think Gino Guidugli is a great special team quarterbacks coach, and I think Marty Biaggi is a good special teams coach. Now, what are we going to do with Ash going forward? I don't know, but Marcus Freeman has to make some big boy decisions in this coming off season. Come what may, regardless of what happens, if Notre Dame gets to the playoffs or not, he still has decisions to make, and I think it's time, because you got to remember, look at all the recruits that were at the USC game. So you had the 27 incoming recruits. They were all there. There was an additional 28 recruits that showed up. I mean, and that's the other reason why Marcus Freeman's not going to leave Notre Dame. He's not going to pull a Brian Kelly and leave him in the lurch. Too classy of a guy. And I'm delighted that he is growing into the job, if I can be so bold as to say that.
Yeah.
And look where he was just, going back to the Ohio State game, the Marshall loss, the 10 men on the field, all that. I don't want to revisit all that, but he's grown substantially, and these kids love to play for him. Now he's got to pedal to the metal, take care of business, take care of what you can. For the rest of the season. They go 10-2, I still, it's a tip of the cap. I don't care if it's a cupcake schedule or whatever the country thinks. I mean, my God, have you seen the slate of the Big Ten schedule in November? It's horse shit.
Yeah. So
all those Notre Dame haters that keep talking, they just keep running their mouths. When are you going to join a conference? When are you going to play a real schedule? Listen, those front end loaded cupcakes do them no favors either, right?
Yeah.
So Notre Dame just takes care of business tomorrow, and one game at a time, as they say. So.
Yep, that's it, man. I am really excited to get the focus back on Notre Dame football and not all the other BS going around and all of the other distractions. It's going to be really good to just watch Notre Dame go hit somebody again. And the other thing, Tom, is I'm glad these guys are all too young to know the pain some of us have with BC. They're too young to get it. It's not in their radar. They have no scar tissue. They see a 1-7 team begging to get beat and put down. They don't have the scar tissue that I carry around of the green jerseys being too slick and you fumbled 7 times at home against BC in 02. They don't have those memories that I got. So I'm glad they're too young. They're just going to go play ball. Let me worry about all this history.
Oh yeah, the Pat Dillingham game. Oh my goodness gracious, that was brutal. Yeah, and our captain was Mike Goolsby was on that team, and I feel bad for him having to go through that.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, that's a. I don't know if you've ever been to Boston College, but that alumni stadium, it could be a little bit of a snake pit, and those students out there, they get a little raucous. They're especially if they've had a few cocktails, they can get downright nasty. So Notre Dame's got to just go out, execute, get them out of the game early, because they're gonna be screaming and yelling, and God knows what they're gonna be saying. And it's the Frank Leahy Memorial Vatican Bowl. What can I tell you? It's you gotta squash your rival. And
and it's Tom. If I'm forced to say one good thing about BC, it's that my main man Frank spent some quality time there, and so I'll give him that. It's the American coach there, and we'll give him that. But outside of that, I don't like them. I don't like their colors. I don't like how they act. I don't like I don't like the history. Just go beat the hell out of them and move on.
They're Jesuits. They're almost Catholic. You know what I mean?
I mean, man, it is. I don't know. So I'm excited to get back to ball here, and it's going to be good to get back in the routine. Tom, I love you, buddy. Anything else as you start your day in the wonderful city of Chicago? People like that hat. You look like a classy Irish gentleman.
Yeah, that's my skipper from Donegal. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. Listen, guys, have a great weekend. I hope you get your televisions sorted out so you can watch the game without it being too painful. God bless. Go Irish. Beat Boston College. We'll see you guys later.
Have a good one, Tom. Take care, buddy. Oh, man. I love that, man. I love that, man. A couple of these chats, we'll go back. We'll get Adam, and then he could get the kids to school. And then Mark, I got a feeling Mark's got something planned for us for Halloween. So I want to be able to give Mark as much runway as he needs. D-Rock Irish. Tough pill to swallow if Endy's out of the CFP with the two best running backs on the same team that won't be seen in the playoff. Yes. That is if you ended up 13th, literally the first team out. By far the most painful aspect of that is going to be, you could argue you have the two best running backs in the country and they're not going to be able to be seen in the playoff. And if you're able to get back to where Carr has some throwing rhythm that's fairly consistent, man, you want to see that in a playoff. We didn't have that last year. Like, I know Greathouse made some good plays or whatever and sparked a little bit, but you didn't have a reliable downfield passing threat that people actually had to worry about all the time. This would be a different kind of Notre Dame offense for a defense to defend in the playoff with those two running backs and a Notre Dame passing game. If you missed out, and if you do, you will probably be the first one on the outside. It's going to be painful. You have nobody to blame but yourself. Don't lose your first two games. Sorry. I'm sorry. Don't lose your first two games, man. Don't lose two of your three biggest games of the year by playing no defense. I'm sorry. And then, like, the offensive thing against Miami was weird. I understand they wanted to make easier throws for Carr or whatever, but man, if you just handed it off 25, 28 times to both of those guys, maybe it ends up different. And I know the O-line wasn't playing good and you had issues there, but I don't know if you just feel like if you handed it to those guys, eventually something would pop and it would have given you a better chance. There's nothing you could do about it now. Miscalculation there on the usage. The A&M one's the one that bothers me. I told you this before. With a week in between Miami and A&M to be able to look at everything you did wrong, to double down and do it worse against A&M defensively, it's offensive. You saw everything you didn't do well enough defensively, and it got worse, but in the off week. It's really upsetting. And now seeing A&M get all this credit for being elite and, all this stuff that it's like they're a good team, but damn. You know what I'm saying? It's What in the world? Dude. Whatever that is not welcome here. That person's banned. That was not a joke. Whoa. Wow. I've never seen anything that direct here before, and I never saw that person before, but they're gone. Holy crap. That was bad. Sid, come on. That was bad. I'm glad I was looking at the chat. Holy cow. Yeah, I happen to be looking right at it. I've never seen anything like that on my channel before, and I don't want to again. Holy crap. I saw the logo before I even read what it said, and I'm like, am I seeing this right? Yes, I was. Get out of here. Clayton says, damn, I missed it. Of course you did, because you can't see no matter what it says. Can you give me Cliff Note? It was very inappropriate and racial in tone. Very inappropriate and racial. That's all I'm going to say. Let's move on. But I'm glad that person is out of here. Yeah, there is some irony there. There's some irony with Clayton Bigsby in the chat. I don't know. That is really upsetting me, but we're going to move on. Like, truly upsetting me. And the logo, too. I can't even believe YouTube allows that logo. Unbelievable. Whoa. Anyways, I'm sorry about that. I do not want that here. Let's move on, though. That threw me off, but we're going to move on. Yeah, so if you don't end up seeing those two running backs in the playoff, that is really upsetting. Really, really going to be upsetting. And that's going to be your fault. It's going to be your fault. Here's where I'm at with this transfer portal thing. Look at what a difference those portal receivers have done for the whole wide receiving room and how it's perceived and how they play. Just look at it. You got Fields and Pauling, and now they're helping you bolster that whole. The depth chart drops down when you have those guys that could be on the top end of it. It gives you way more to work with. Go back to the portal and spend big money to get 2 or 3 of those guys, and then go spend money and get a good defensive lineman. If you feel like this Notre Dame program's close to getting over the hump, identify your needs and don't get outspent to go fill them. That's where I'm at on this. If you feel like this program is close to getting it over the edge and you believe in Carr and what this is turning into, you go into that portal and you do not get outspent to get your needs taken care of. You sell the wide receivers. You have 1 more year of eligibility to go to the NFL. Carr's going to throw it to you. You could raise your profile. Don't get outspent. Just spend the NIL money. Same thing with defensive line. If any good defensive linemen end up in the portal, you have to overpay. Period. You have to overpay to get any really good defensive lineman in the portal. If you feel like you're close, Notre Dame, do not get outspent. Do what it takes to get a couple good receivers and defensive linemen. Identify your needs. Don't let money be an issue. Get this thing over the hump, damn it. Get this thing over the hump. Okay? Yeah. Denbrock's game plan was an issue against Miami. Can't believe we didn't get more touches for Love and Price. All of that talk about all those throws to the sideline and whether they were called or only Denbrock's, only a handful was called. The rest were reads by Carr, and that's what he decided to do with it, whatever. You can avoid all that if you just hand the ball to Love and Price and see what happens. You can avoid your young quarterback in his first game as starter having to do all those calculations if you just give your studs the ball, see what happens. Nothing you could do about it now, though. Nothing you could do about it now, though. BC ranked 120 on offensive turnovers. I'm telling you, the both quarterbacks will throw you the ball. Lonergan and James, both quarterbacks will throw you the ball. They have turnover issues. They're a pass-happy team. They have turnover issues. Somebody else said it's supposed to be very windy. Not very, but like 20-mile-an-hour winds. How does that affect the pass game? for CJ Carr. And if they want to throw, how does that affect them? I don't know. It's like Boston-y weather, man. Just kind of cold and gray and windy. I don't know. I think I was in Boston one time for work or something. I don't even remember. I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old. Adam, and then Mark with glasses. Anybody else that wants to jump in? Adam, good morning.
Good morning, John. Happy Halloween, my friend.
Yeah, man. I gotta tell you, I'm disappointed my outfit didn't arrive, but it'll be a classic for next year that'll make people laugh. I'm fine waiting on it. Man, Adam, I'm excited to see Notre Dame play again. It feels like it's been a month since the USC game, all the BK drama and all the coaching drama. I need to see our guys play again. What do you think one day before this matchup?
Well, I completely agree with you as far as like it feels like it's been an eternity. Like we need Notre Dame football, and when watching these other games, and it's exciting, and of course we had the Brian Kelly fiasco, so that made it entertaining as all can be. But it's time to get down to business, and business is very simple. It's absolutely destroy these teams that you're going to be playing. That's what it comes down to. The only one that I could see kind of being somewhat of a match would be that either of Navy or Pitt. But, in reality is if you want to go up against these bigger schools and keep competing year in and year out, you have to handle your business with these lower tier teams. And so I'm predicting, I don't know, maybe like, how does 56-6 sound? Because that's what it should be. Yeah, I would love to see, especially if it's going to be windy and there's some kind of weather issues. Man, I want a 300-yard rushing day by those by those two running backs. Another 200 for Love and another 100 plus for Price, because that's what we should be doing to these teams. So I'm expecting it. I'm not just saying like, oh, we should and hopefully. I'm saying I expect them to do that because that's the capability of this particular team going against a 1-7 team that beat a school that a lot of JUCO teams could be taken care of. So handle your business. That's where I see it.
Yeah, it's what's been on my mind is I was writing a preview article early this morning for the website, and I was just thinking of how much it changes in your mind the difference between we just need to win a game and we need to win a game and impress doing it. Those are two very different mindsets of like USC was a moment of, I don't care what it looks like. You just need to win the game and I'm going to be thrilled. These remaining 5 games, I think Notre Dame people feel like you want to pile it on to help that playoff case. And there's not a lot of ranked numbers next to these teams. You got it. And I don't even, you kind of feel like you need to pile it on. Do you agree that there's a different kind of pressure coming out of this bye?
100%. And that's what I was alluding to earlier in the week, because what it comes down to is going to be style points are going to be part of the ingredient that shows the committee who we are, because we don't have the perennial, we're not playing it against a Texas or something like that at the end of the year to kind of showcase that against somewhat of a better team. We're playing against Stanford in Palo Alto with 9,000 people, maybe, and I'll be one of them sitting there. And it's crickets.
You're going to have a whole section to yourself. You're going to be able to stretch out. Why don't I stretch? Nice place. Why don't I stretch out? It's
John, that's why I'm able to get my kids on the field, because it's literally, they're just like, oh yeah, come on down. They could care less. There's just, I mean, it's an incredible environment if you're a Notre Dame fan. If you're a Stanford fan, it is god awful, and it just is what it is. But Adam,
I don't like crowd in my old cranky age. I don't like crowds and I don't like people. It's not very comfortable for me to be at Notre Dame home games. I just don't like being jammed with that many people. I would love a road game like that where I could have a whole section to myself, stretch out, not have a million people around. That sounds enjoyable for a road game because you're not depressed that your fans aren't the ones not showing up.
No doubt. I completely agree. Yeah, completely agree. And I'll tell you this, Johnny, like, as far as like what we're looking at for the committee coming this Tuesday, there's a number of teams that are in front of us that have buys like BYU and whatnot this week. And so there's not going to be, it'll be very interesting to see where they slot us. And I wouldn't be surprised if it is just right at 12. It's like, okay, as of right now, you're in. But it's going to be what you do from here on out, as well as what the other teams are doing in front of you. So you have to win convincingly. If you're winning 13, if I give you 4 scores, 13-12, 42-6, and then like a 7-6 and a 10-7 or something like that, which one do you think is more impressive? Obviously the 42, right? But that's going to, if they're all wins, they all count towards, the W column, but it's different. And when you're talking about splitting hairs between these teams, and there's going to be a lot of them around that 14-10 range that all have 2 losses, that we're going to be like, well, is it another SEC team, another ACC team? It's going to be a little bit chaotic and stressful. A couple weeks ago, or even I think longer than that, we were talking, and somebody said in the chat, like, oh, we might even have a possibility of a first round bye. Like, there is not, I don't see any scenario with that, with what is happening right now,
Adam,
and how the things are happening. Yeah.
Adam, I don't understand that. I've had a lot of people be like on the Patreon board, even I've seen people be like, I'm going to be very frustrated if we don't have a home game and we have to go on the road. Bro, I'm looking at this. I just want to make the field. I don't know how people are figuring that with the teams ahead of us and Miami and A&M having head-to-heads on us at 2 losses. I don't understand how anybody's thinking Notre Dame's navigating into a hosting seed. I will just be thrilled if you make it.
I couldn't see it. I just don't see it unless the
path. I don't see that path.
No, unless the committee is just that. I don't know if they just look at our brand and they're just like, yes, Notre Dame, I know they lost those first 2 games, but we're going to slot them right now at 8, and then maybe. But if it's going based upon what the AP poll is looking at and who we're playing against and like all the different things that have been happening, they take it all into account. They take the injuries into account, as we've seen with Florida State years ago. So it's just, at this point, we have got to be thrilled if we make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Let me be really clear with that.
Absolutely.
Be excited if we make it, because we dug ourselves a hole. We put ourselves in this position. Miami, I agree with you. Texas A&M, I agree with you. We gave that one away, and that's the one that hurts. So 11-1 is a lot easier to sit there and say, okay, cool. We should maybe be getting a first round bye. But at 10-2 and rattling off 10 wins after 2 just really difficult losses, I know this is the bed that we made. We got to lay in this. So this is our deal, and don't assume that we're just going to get in.
Here's how I look at this. If you make the comeback from starting out 0-2, getting all the way back into the playoff, right? If you do that, Adam, I look at that as like a free spin at the casino slot machine. Like I look at that, a season that didn't go great where you're feeling elite the whole way there. If you're able to back your way into that playoff, I don't care if you have to go on the road or what you got to do. I look at that as bonus spins on the wheel. And then you know what you do if you're Notre Dame? You let it all hang and you look at it as a bonus opportunity and you let it rip and you use those 2 running backs and you go for it. You pull out all the stops. You take risks. And I would genuinely look at it as a bonus reel spin after the way you started. If you back into this thing, it is a golden opportunity that I wasn't sure you were going to get all year.
Completely agree. Look, we went on a bender the night before. We lost all our cash. We're walking around the casino. We look down and there's a $100 bill just sitting there and we picked it up. Now, what you do with it, and if you can sit there and flip that into, a couple of racks, great. Then go for it. But don't expect for it to just absolutely flourish because you already dropped everything else before. It's very easily could be taken away from you because you're putting it in the hands, in this case, of the committee on whether or not they think you're strong enough of a team, as well as all the teams that are in front of you and who they're playing and how they're playing each other and whether or not they're going to kick you out. Because there have been too many scenarios that I've seen on all the different platforms that have been showing Notre Dame right there at 12 or right there at 11 or, you guessed it, 13. So that's kind of where we're looking at. And a lot of these models have been putting us, if everything were to go a certain way, on the road, 100% going to
Fine.
SEC country and Georgia,
Fine. It's totally fine. I am all yeah, blue and gold in the chat here. And they said nice shirt. There is a funny story behind how I acquired this shirt. So yeah, Adam, I am just stunned when I log in and I get messages of like, what do you think the odds are that we're hosting? And I'm saying, what are the odds that we're in the damn field? Am I missing something when I look at
Completely
the
agree.
teams ahead of us? And then the tie-breaking losses to Miami and A&M, it's I just don't understand it. I'm going to be happy to get in the field. And if you have to go on the road, listen, it was a magical time in South Bend with my dad for the first home playoff game with Dr. John and all this stuff. I go on the road. I don't care. I go on the road,
Yes.
Be a road warrior. That isn't going to ruin Notre Dame.
And-
Take it
and
on,
John-
head on.
And John, on top of that, go on the road and get in the playoffs, but give these two, we were just talking about it, right? It's like give these two running backs a chance to be together in the
That's it.
playoffs.
That's it.
You have to. If it will be a travesty if we don't make it and these players are not in there, because if they both go, pro, I mean, wow. And then we're 10-2 playing in whatever bowl.
And again, Adam, the frustrating thing is you're looking at the Notre Dame season as two different seasons. The first two games and everything else. It is
Yes.
literally the first two games and then everything else. And in our Irish minds, it's two totally delineated different seasons. Those first two games still matter. You can't lose.
Exactly.
So
They still
if
matter.
You're out and be miserable and be mad and whatever. But like you have no one to blame but yourself if you're out. You can't lose first two games. You could have gone 1-1 and been sitting pretty, but no, you let Texas A&M beat you at home because you didn't know how to play competent football defensively.
And remember this, John, like I know Tom was talking about like, hey, he wanted to know like what happened at the beginning of this whole thing. But remember that we were coming into a season, brand new quarterback, brand new DC, brand new this, brand new that, all these different players, different schemes. And it was like, and we're going against these two perennial powerhouses on the road in Miami, and then Texas A&M at home, who wanted revenge from the year before. There were so many variables that went into it that you couldn't even account for when you were setting up this schedule years ago.
Yeah.
So that's why scheduling comes into play. The power of scheduling is so important. You need to be able to test out these coaches. You need to be able to test out the players, and you have a couple cupcakes to start. Especially because if you don't know if you're going to be starting a new quarterback or whoever it is, then you're going to be running into the problems that just naturally occur. So if you have at least one game against whoever, Purdue, I don't care who it is, but it doesn't have to be a Fordham, but it has to be somebody that you can at least say, okay, we should definitely win regardless. And then start looking at where are the issues. And I know we had 2 weeks in between Miami and Texas A&M, and that just goes to show how many issues we had, and it's amazing to see where they've come. And that's a testament to, Marcus Freeman, the staff, and everybody else. But man, it's always like the what could have been if this person wasn't injured. What could have been if we didn't drop that one game by 1 point? It's like, man, it fires me up.
This is why we love college football, because it has the shortest regular season in all
Yes.
major sports, and every one of the games carries so much weight, and it's an event, and it's a big deal. That is why you love it. And when your team loses by a point in a bad game, it really digs deep. It cuts deep because you know what it means. Adam, I love you, buddy. Hey, what are the kids going to be for Halloween?
Oh man, it is bonkers here at the house. We are out the door and we're going to be heading to school, and they each have their, let's see, the little one is Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
Gotcha.
And the big one is Sonic. So he's just rumbling around and doing his thing. So it's awesome. It's a fun time.
Yeah, I think you should go as Chad for a Halloween. I think you should go as Chad, hang 10, get a surfboard as you walk the kids around the neighborhood.
You know what I did? I went to a costume party the other day for the kids with my wife, and And when we walk in and all the parents are decked out, I wore my Notre Dame sweats, my Notre Dame shoes, my Rudy Rudiger jersey, my backwards Notre Dame hat, and walked in and they're all, "What are you?" I'm all, "Me." I'm just going to be me, man. Here I am. I've got my full gear on. I'm ready for the game. And they're like, "Oh, that's kind of unfortunate because I'm a USC fan." Turned around, walked away, didn't talk to the guy ever, for the rest of the time. I'm out.
For you.
I'm out.
Hey, have fun with the kids. Make sure you steal all the good candy when they're done and hide it for yourself and then leave them the rest. That's the move, Adam.
Absolutely, brother. Happy Halloween. Hey, we're gonna crush BC. Let's handle business and we'll talk tomorrow.
Have a good one. Yeah, we'll be on the post-game show. You guys know. So yeah, story time. So a singer wanted to know what he said. Nice shirt. Where did you get that? So check this out. I'm in the bookstore last summer, wandering around, running my mouth to people the way I always do, wandering around. And you know how the bookstore, like the ceiling's like 30 feet high in there. And they got a mannequin at the very, very, very top with this shirt on it. And then they always have these mannequins. And then down below them where they line up, they have either the cubicles or like the shirts of what they're showing on the mannequin with the different sizes. I looked through 80 shirts. There ain't none of this. This is the one I wanted because it's this vintage look. So I find a guy who works there and I said, "Here's the deal, man. How are you guys advertising this shirt on that mannequin 30 feet up there, but you don't have none of them to buy?" I said, where are they? And he says, "Oh, that's a really good question. Let me go in the back and see if we just didn't put them out or maybe they're sold out or whatever." So the guy goes in the back for like 10 minutes. I'm like, "What are we doing?" He comes back out and he goes, "We don't have any of these shirts." He says, "We don't have any of these shirts." And I said, "Well, then you're going to get me that one." And I said, "I don't know what size it is, but me and that mannequin look about." I said, "You're going to get me this one that's 30 feet up on this mannequin." This guy is, how do I say this? Awkwardly shaped. I'm being very, very polite. Awkwardly shaped and looked quite uncoordinated. He says, "Do you know what it's going to take for me to get this shirt off that mannequin that's 25 feet up there, whatever?" I said, "I don't care. Knock the mannequin down with your shepherd's hook stick and I'll catch him." He couldn't. He was super upset and got frustrated with me. And he's like, "Sir, do you really expect me to get that mannequin down from 25 feet so you could have that shirt?" I said, "Yes, I do." So then he tries doing it with the shepherd's hook. He's knocking other stuff off. He's so uncoordinated. I wanted to be like, "Could you let somebody with some hand-eye coordination do this?" He's knocking stuff off. There's dust falling like asbestos from the sky. He can't get it with the shepherd's hook. Then he says, "I'm going to have to go in the back and get a ladder." And now I'm thinking, bro, this guy couldn't even do it with his 2 feet on the ground with the shepherd's hook. Now this guy's going to get up on a 15-foot ladder to do this? Like, this guy's probably going to die to get me this stupid ass shirt. So he couldn't do it alone. He had to have an old lady hold the ladder, and he slowly moves up. And eventually he hits the mannequin. It comes down. I catch it. Dust flies everywhere. Dust flies everywhere. I get this. We get the mannequin. I take it off, and I'm like, "This is it. I don't care what size it is. I'm buying this shirt." And that is it. The guy was very upset. That was like the most workout this guy's done in his whole life, getting this shirt off the stupid mannequin. He was very annoyed, but I was annoyed. Bro, I don't have the patience to be sitting in the bookstore for 80 hours to get a stupid shirt. Why in hell do you have it on a mannequin if it isn't there for me to buy? I said, did they all sell out? No, I just don't think we have any to put out. Well, then why is it on the mannequin? Why is it on the mannequin? But anyways, it was the biggest workout of this guy's life. He did not like me. He was rolling his eyes and sighing under his breath when he asked me, you expect me to get that shirt off that 30-foot tall mannequin up there, mannequin? I said, yes, I do. I want to buy it. Shake down the asbestos from the sky. People were laughing because I'm in there like I'm in there and I'm kind of animated, having fun with it. I told the guy, I could do this in 2 seconds. Can you just let me hop on this thing with the shepherd's hook and I can maneuver that thing? He's like, you're not allowed to do that because you don't work here. What if you get hurt or whatever? I'm like, bro, what if I get hurt? What if you get hurt? Anyways, that's the story with the shirt. And then 900 people have asked me, where'd you get the shirt? And I said, I'll tell you where I got it, but good luck finding another one. The guy couldn't figure it out. They got to be down here available. There is now, I went through 800 shirts. There ain't one of them like this. False advertising. Anyways, that's how I got the shirt. That guy was upset. It was very, very stressful for him to remove that. I did not tip him. I didn't know if that was a bookstore thing, but that man was in a flop sweat. People were looking at him, climbing up there. He was shaking. I just told him, let me do it in 2 seconds. It was unbelievable. I want to see Johnny shopping at a super Walmart. You know what my favorite thing to do is when we're staying in Florida for the Walmart trip? You know, you get to the condo, you go do a Walmart run to load up on a ton of food and crap for the week, beer, whatever, water. Let the women go in the store and me and my dad will sit in the car and wait because I don't have the patience for a regular Walmart, let alone a Florida Walmart. So they'll go in and we'll sit there, bro. You could sit in that parking lot and you see just about everything you could possibly imagine sitting in the parking lot of a South Florida Walmart. Whoa, unbelievable. You'll see a little bit of everything. Anyways, God bless that bookstore guy. He had the weirdest body type I've ever seen. I felt bad making him do anything physical. The guy was sweating bullets. He almost fell and split his wig 8 times. It was a challenge, but I got the shirt and it ended up fitting perfect. It ended Walmart 2 a.m. The hills have eyes, dude. It is interesting. And the Illinois ones have a different bad vibe and the Florida ones have their own unique bad vibe. It is unbelievable. Unbelievable. You must have gone to the same Walmart in West Palm that I've gone to. I'm not trying to be mean to the Walmart people. All right, Mark with glasses. He's ready for Halloween. Here we go.
Welcome back, folks, to a Boston College beatdown Halloween edition of the Always Irish Show.
I want to know how many times you practiced that last night before coming on today.
Yeah, this is my costume. How about that?
This is unbelievable. I'm really tripping out, man. It's like seeing myself, but not really.
I gotta change it. Am I normal now?
Yep. Well, that's relative. That depends who you ask. You're as normal as me and you are going to get.
So I've got us winning 56-17.
It's a lot of points. It's a lot of points.
This, believe it or not, this is going to be the third last place Power 4 conference team we're going to play. Purdue's last place, Big Ten. Boston College last place, ACC. Arkansas last place in the SEC. All 3 of those games have 0 conference wins. We handled the previous 2 easily, so I think we're going to have that the same. So literally half of our wins are against last place Power 4 conference teams, and I'm surprised the computers like us as much as they do. But hey, but so like tomorrow, like a really simple way of looking at it, Boston College defense, I have it here 126 in scoring defense. And we have the 6th highest scoring offense. So like Lee Corso used to say, yo, and our offense is rolling. We're 14th in the country, getting yards. We should be able to run up, march up and down the field.
Mark, what about Carr and that passing offense? Like, one of the top things I'm looking for is for Carr to regain a little bit of that rhythm and flow he had in the middle part of the first half of the year. I'm really hoping it's been good enough to win, but I'm really open to see that passing game find its rhythm again and hit that comfort zone they had in that stretch where punting was just never even a thing. If you could do that and at Price and Love, man, that's a tough offense. I want to see Carr get back into that rhythm. Is that on your mind at all? I'm hoping to see it.
Yeah, me too. And him and Carr and Fields had such a good thing going early, and I would like to see that kind of get going again because he's been kind of MIA. But yeah, I think win big and be impressive because you look at the top 25, like there's only 7 at-larges, and like you look up and down all the one and 2 loss teams, and there's a lot of somewhat deserving teams, and I think I have here with the college football playoff committee, they look at strength of schedule, head-to-head, and comparative outcomes of common opponents, and then health and availability of players. So I think these next 5 games, blowing these guys out is going to go a long way because, like, literally the best part of our resume is 2 quality losses. And that's not a very good leg to stand on. And our best win is barely in the top 25 USC team.
Mark, what some people are pointing to now is what Notre Dame did to Arkansas compared to what some of even the SEC teams have done against Arkansas. They've hung tough against some other teams, and Notre Dame just beat the crap out of them. And I've seen a lot of people start pointing in that direction. And it's interesting because it's SEC. But you're right, man. Like you have no leverage when your big point is like good losses. Like you really would hope Notre Dame's past that, but you're kind of in a position where that matters.
Yeah, and you see spin zoning, like everybody does it. Like, oh, this team is a lot better than their record. Everybody says that every year. That's just a common thing, and sometimes it is true. Arkansas is a perfect example of that. But that's what I got towards the game. I think the opening round is in like 50 days from today or something. So it's absolutely nuts. But yeah, I got 56-17. And then on my way out, I've got, do you want to hear my top 10 candies to pass out for Halloween tonight?
I absolutely do. Yes. We need a candy list on Halloween. This is perfect.
All right. Well,
and am I free to push back if I disagree?
No, because these are mine. This is my list, but number 1, it's a classic. You get a good root beer or a pina colada, the old Dum Dum. It's a classic. You get a pina colada, you're practically on a beach.
Yeah, that looks delicious. Yeah.
Number 9, good rule, lifesavers. I got Leonard Moore, one of the best players in the country that's not talked about as much as he should be, but I got Dots, a great candy. I like to squish them before I eat them. CJ
Mark,
Carr
your
throws
brain,
Dots.
the way your brain is wired is so perfect for this show. I'm so glad we're friends. This is so perfect. It's so on
A lot
brand.
of people don't like these, but I love Peeps. Shout out to the tailgate.
Oh, yes. That's perfect.
Number 6, Jay Carr will like this. I got Chunky Bars.
Ooh, man, that's a little off the reservation.
Yeah, you got peanuts and raisins in there, and Aeneas will get you a yard if you need a yard. Number 5, Starburst never disappoint, just like these two guys.
That's good.
Number 4, Butterfingers, might be too soon. Number 3 is Nerds. Ohio State fans are nerds.
Oh my God, Kent. I hope he sees this.
Number 2, Payday.
Oh, that's beautiful. You
Goes
even
without
have the
saying.
arm. I like the fingers. That's an extra touch with his hands holding it up.
Yeah. And the number 1 Halloween candy goes without saying is the Halloween pumpkins.
There you go. Yeah, that's a classic, man. That you really can't go wrong. And I've gone over in detail over the years the science behind why the Reese's seasonal ones taste better. The Christmas trees, the Easter eggs, the pumpkin. They don't have the hard, rigid edge of the hard chocolate.
That's exactly it.
They have the gentle edges with more of that unique peanut butter blend. I've always stood firm. Those are the best ones because it's not just a hard ridge of plain chocolate around the edge. I will stand by that.
Yep. That's the number 1 candy. That's all I got today. Shout out to the chat. Happy Halloween.
God, that was good, man. That was really good. The graphics were on point too. That was a good arts and crafts project. Mark, I underestimated when I did like the StreamYard thing, what it would open up creativity wise for the group. I underestimated where you could take it now.
Well, I used markers and crayons the other day, and these were printed, obviously. So I don't know what I'll do next.
That was very, very, very well thought out. Mark, God bless you, man. Have fun for Halloween, and then we'll see you on the post-game show tomorrow and on Patreon in the meantime.
All right. Happy Halloween.
Have a good one. Oh, man, that's creative. God, you guys are good. You guys are good. Tom, we'll see you, buddy. We'll see you. Jay Anderson, I'm going to be Charlie Weiss for Halloween. Here's the interesting thing about that. Remember the year when Weiss got taken out on the sideline and tore his ACL? Does anybody remember that gruesome scene of Weiss getting taken out and having that injury? And then he had that brace he was walking around with the awkward khakis and then the brace around it, right? I was living up near the city at that point, and I remember being in Wrigleyville for Halloween. I must have saw a dozen guys going as Charlie Weiss. Pillows in their shirt, khakis with the brace, and they were and then a clipboard, and they were all walking around Wrigleyville all night. It was everywhere I looked, there was another injured Charlie Weiss. And a naughty nurse. Every direction I looked, injured Charlie Weiss, naughty teacher, naughty nurse, everywhere, every direction. I had everything I needed to be fulfilled. It was a beautiful thing. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. You did a Bartman one once? Yeah, go figure, man. A guy messes up the Cubs' chance for the World Series or whatever, and he's a dork, and then he's a Notre Dame dork. Go figure. That poor guy, man. That is rough. Yeah, I didn't see any naughty Charlie Weisses. That is, we're going to let that go. Yikes. Yikes. Look at this. Win and everything else falls into place. I don't know if I fully believe that or not. Like, I'm just saying, I don't know if I fully believe that. I don't know when I look at everything that's going on ahead of Notre Dame and where we've lost. I don't know whether 10-2 is in no matter what and everything takes care of itself. Or maybe you mean by this, everything falls into place. Maybe you mean you're confident other teams are going to fail and you're baking that into the equation, that if we're 10-2, you're figuring the status quo of the teams winning that have won to get in position now, that's just not going to last. I don't know. Text ND, I think about this all the time. I think about all the time. In the old days, I used to feel like if Notre Dame loses one game, they're pretty much out. Screwed. Season's over. Like most of my life, I felt like if Notre Dame lost one game, we were done. Our major goals were unattainable. I felt that way, man. You got a lot more flexibility now to be able to not be perfect and still put it together and have a great year. Last year's a good example of that. Hopefully this year is a good example of that. All because the defensive side of the ball, Marcus Freeman had control of since pre-2021. That should have never happened, and there's no excuse for it. I am still not over. I want to know what was going on in camp for them to misevaluate so much of their talent on that defense of who could do what in those first two games. They did not have a good grasp on who was ready to play what role in those environments. But I'm still saying the gap between Miami and A&M, for you to come out and play worse defense against A&M, I cannot accept and I can't understand. It wasn't, a week later and there isn't a bunch of time or whatever. Man, you had a half a month to look at everything that went wrong against Miami, and you somehow ended up doing worse against A&M. And now I'm seeing them pumped up that they're elite and all this stuff. And I just think back to what it should be and where we would be with that one loss. But there's not a damn thing you could do about it now. There's nothing you could do about it now. The kicking game, that's scariest part of Halloween. Yeah, you got to figure that out too. And you would hope that none of the remaining 5 games are going to come down to a field goal that you need to win it. Like, I hope that's not what's going to happen. So I don't know, man. It's tough. It is tough out here. That's for darn sure. I'm over it. We are what we are. Yeah, I mean, I'm over it too. But if you end up on the outside looking in, you're not going to be over it, right? Like you could say you're over it. We are whatever. But yeah, if you're on the outside looking in, you're going to have major regrets about how you played that game. It was just, listen, it was a combination of really a bunch of rough dynamics that all hit at the same time. Right? You're breaking in a new starting quarterback on the road against Miami. The only game all year where more than 5 people are going to the game. And then you have A&M, and you knew they were going to come and they were going to be tough and whatever. And you're breaking in a new defense. Your defense coordinator. You're breaking in a new quarterback, and then you have 2 of the toughest games I could think of to do that against. Those circumstances suck. It's your job to succeed in them anyways. It's your job to succeed anyways. And you didn't even have to be perfect at it. 1-1 would have been just fine. Lose to Miami, beat A&M by a point, you're fine. And we're not having this discussion of can Notre Dame sneak in the back part. We're talking about who are you going to host. So you put yourself in this position. Hopefully you could prove that you're better than you showed in the first 2 weeks. Big nose. What's going on? Yo.
Hey, Johnny, how are you? Reporting live from upstate New York. Hey Johnny, man, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. You're good.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to see Notre Dame play again. It feels like it's been a month, and I need to see the boys out there cracking lids again.
Hey, you may have mentioned this before. Maybe I missed it, but are you going to feel bad at all if for some reason we go 10-2 and can't get in?
I mean, I'm going to feel terrible. I'm going to have severe depression over it.
But I mean, you lose the first 2, you just can't do it. You know, if you're talking about being a championship team, some of those mistakes, whether mental or physical, by the coaches, by Schuler not trying to get an interception, by Buckner, not holding the football correctly. They're really inexcusable for a championship football team.
Yeah, it is, man. And it's so frustrating because this feels like such a different team right now, and the defense has found itself. It just feels like in those two most critical moments, we just didn't put our good best foot forward, and now you might pay the price.
As I've said before, I'm from New York, and obviously the Yankee hat is everywhere. Even in New York, you see tons of Cowboy fans. Probably the third most recognizable logo is the Notre Dame logo. I can't see the playoff committee leaving the Notre Dame logo, the gold helmets, out after 10 wins in a row. Do you think that's really a possibility?
I am with you, man. The most Notre Dame could do is win the remaining 5 games by good margins. Dare the committee to leave a Notre Dame team that has won 10 games in a row out. That is exactly what you want to do. And they can't admit if they partially pick a team because they like the helmet and the profile and the amount of views on TV or whatever, they can't really admit it. But they could get up there and go, Notre Dame's playing. They're on a 10-game win streak. They're one of the 12 best teams right now, and we're putting them in for that reason. But this could be an instance where it doesn't hurt to have that Notre Dame logo by your name.
Right. And I think that along with the Notre Dame logo, there are just as many people that hate us, starting with maybe, the ACC refs, certain media personalities that were really low on us in the middle of the season and were low on us when we hired Freeman as the coach. But I think that we should use it to our advantage whenever we can.
Yeah, there are times where Notre Dame's at a disadvantage for being who it is. Like one of them being there is no path to a playoff through the conference championship, even if you lose another dumb game outside of that or whatever, for example. But there are a lot of benefits to being Notre Dame. And you know what else I think, man, is Notre Dame earned some playoff credibility last year. The other times we made the tournament in the 4-teamer and got our doors blown off, that doesn't help your credibility of making the committee look smart for putting in the best teams. Notre Dame has a track record now being able to compete in the playoff. I think subconsciously even that helps. I really do.
And even the fact that they made a little comeback in the national championship gives them some legitimacy. You won 3 games in a row against ranked teams. It looked like you were going to get blown out by Ohio State, and you made a little comeback, made us have to watch the whole game. And I think that we'll say to the playoff committee, hey, Freeman's got these guys in line, and maybe we should give them the benefit of the doubt this year.
Yeah, it is, man, but a Notre Dame team on a 10-game winning streak, regardless of who it's against, that's a pretty good profile. If you had to lose 2 games, you told me you have to lose 2 games. I would say make it the first 2 games and against, 2 good teams. That's about as good as you could do it for failing. You know what I mean?
Right. One thing I wanted to bring up, and I just wanted to hear your opinion on this. A lot of times at the end of the season, folks will talk about wins against teams that ended up ranked. But I think what's more important is, was the team ranked at the time you played them? Because after you may have beaten this team, they might spiral, but you're the team that invented the game tape that shows the other teams how to beat them.
I love this. I love this talking point. I have thought about this forever, and I'm going to even do something a little different than you did. It's really weird to say, you played a top 10 ranked team in your first game, and then they end up losing a few games and they're not ranked at the end of the year. So you don't get credit for playing a ranked team or whatever. But it matters what the dynamic is when you play them. The energy of the other team, when they're preseason ranked top 10, they're flying high, full of confidence or whatever. That all goes into it. And then you're right. Maybe you're the reason they had a crappy year after that.
I think that point validates our win against USC. USC coming into Notre Dame was flying high. They just curb stomped Michigan, beat them by 21 points. Notre Dame puts a stop to it. If they spiral, it's only because of how Notre Dame defense played against them, what Notre Dame's offense did against them, and what they showed other coordinators were successful against this USC team.
Yeah, it is. And you know what else? There's a lot of pressure on Lincoln Riley with this Nebraska game they got. Tricky spot for them. They're coming out of a bye as well. It is a really tricky spot for Lincoln Riley. That game I have circled with high intrigue to see how that plays out. There's a lot of pressure right now over there.
Have you seen the graphic out there that describes, I think, Venables' record at Oklahoma? Why does it seem like Venables and Lincoln Riley have a longer leash than Brian Kelly and maybe Franklin did at Penn State? Their records are not very good compared to those two guys who were fired.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think you got to look at the institutions and how rabid they are about it. It's just a different vibe with those two. Those two fan bases are extra intense. And then maybe some of it has to do with the personalities, quite frankly, as well. I don't know.
That's true. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. I just remember growing up that Oklahoma at some point was always ranked number 1, and somehow Bob Stoops always managed to lose. Big game Stoops always managed to lose the big games.
Yeah, it is. And then with the conference changes and stuff, it gets really interesting, man. I am still not used to seeing what I consider Pac-10 teams playing in the Big Ten. I love watching it. I just love it. It's interesting to me to just watch it all blend together now. It's wild.
I enjoy the complaining that you're hearing out of the Oregons.
We gotta travel. We gotta travel. We gotta travel. Well, you made this decision to make more money, and you knew travel was a part of it. Shut up and quit complaining.
Yeah, and I think, moreover, I think that they were just thinking of profits that they can make from the football team, and they didn't realize that, oh, shoot, now the swim team has to go to Rutgers. Oh, shoot, now we're golfing in Maryland. Oh, shoot, it's the 20 other teams that are net negative for the university, and we didn't think about that. We just thought about the bottom line of the football and basketball teams.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. There was always going to be positives and negatives to that big shift. There's no way it could all just be on the positive end. There was always going to be some downstream negative effects. And I think all of the lower level non-revenue generating sports are feeling that with all the travel and the expense for programs that don't bring in money but cost money. And then for the football, man, it is hilarious. No one ever gave a crap that Notre Dame had to fly all over, but now the Big Ten does it, and it's a big deal that they got to consider now.
Do you think in the world of NIL and the world of these major state schools spending a substantial amount of money, do you think that Notre Dame has any moral superiority because our coach isn't the highest paid public official in these states? That it comes from private money?
You know, I was thinking about this yesterday when I was watching the Louisiana governor do his media hits and trying to walk back some of his comments and double down on other ones. It's Notre Dame's built so uniquely. It's like its own little world, right? Where it's a private institution. It isn't connected to the state. But I do think it's interesting that the head football coach is usually the highest paid employee in a lot of these states. I don't know whether that's good or bad, but if that's where the money's driving in from, I get it. But I don't know if that's good or bad overall, that a football coach is the highest paid employee in his state.
Right. The other thing that I want to look for, not to be terribly off topic, is I'm really just want to get out of Boston College with a convincing win, but to get out healthy as well. We're down to, we're well within the depth of the second string offensive linemen, right? How many of those guys do we even have left?
You cannot afford another offensive line injury, or you are really, really stretched thin. And the other thing is, some of this isn't just a Notre Dame issue. With the portal and NIL, the talent spreading out, a lot of teams don't have the depth they used to have along the offensive and defensive lines because guys that can play, go play somewhere else if they're not going to start. And then you just got to hope your guys don't get hurt because it's harder to have good depth now than ever.
Can you foresee a world in which the NIL eventually has like a salary cap? Like you can only spend $40 million on your team? Because I remember 2 years ago when Ryan Day came out and he said it was going to cost $21 million to keep Ohio State together. That was a figure that was deemed inappropriate and astronomical. But now that seems pretty standard. Do you think that eventually some governing organization can say, all right, guys, like this is getting ridiculous. The free market is going crazy. We need to put a limit to this?
I don't know. They have the salary cap with the 20 million that they have to pay out now, all these major teams. But I feel like the NIL part is still whatever you could get, go ahead and get it. Like, and then are you going to end up back in court again? Right? Like this all went through court to be able to judge whether they're going to allow them to do NIL and get paid or whatever. Then if you try and put a cap on it, it'll probably end up right back in court where they're arguing, why are you trying to hold back how much money we can make in a free market system? I could see it all going back through court. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a valid point, right? Like why are college sports trying to limit capitalism? That's a major sin.
Yeah. And so I don't know how that's all going to work out. I really don't. But I do know one thing's for sure. Notre Dame's serious about competing in the modern era. Like they have doubled down. They're a part of the NIL game. They're getting in the transfer thing. Like it is obvious to me, Bavakwa and this program are serious about trying to compete in this landscape and do it within Notre Dame's value system. And I think they're doing a pretty good job.
Do you think there's something to be said about success and the fact that Notre Dame seems to still, the roster is still comprised of 80% original Notre Dame guys, and that we only bring in 5 or 6 guys from the transfer portal? And then you hear about these crazy numbers from other schools who bring in 30 new players each cycle. Do you think it's better for cohesion that we only bring in a handful?
What I think is this varies culture to culture. And with Notre Dame's academics, the small school thing, the family feel or whatever, Notre Dame's nucleus is always going to be mainly Notre Dame homegrown guys. And then you bring in a half dozen or 8 or whatever guys to blend in to bolster your roster. But for Notre Dame and our culture, I just think this works with the academics and everything else. You need that nucleus of Notre Dame guys, and then you bring in 6 or 8 of whatever you need on top of that. And you got to make sure their culture fits. They respect Notre Dame. They know what they're getting into. So far, so good with Freeman in that regard. They're doing a good job. But not every culture's the same. And some of them don't bat an eye at having 50 kids coming and going every spring and fall or whatever. It's never going to be Notre Dame's way. I like our way with the nucleus of homegrown culture and then cherries on top. But I think that varies school to school, culture to culture.
Okay, I can see that. That's a valid point. What do you think? Do you have a score prediction for the Boston College game? How do you think that's going to turn out?
I think I did for my Sports Illustrated. I think I did. What did I do? 42-13, something like that. 42-13, I think I came up with. What I'm most intrigued with is, does Notre Dame come out fired up from the start, ready to go? Or is it a little sleepy and it takes them a while to wake up after the bye and the travel to a 1-7 team? I really want to see Notre Dame get off to a good start here.
Yeah, I understand that. A quick start, get everyone out maybe after the first half, come home healthy, and then prep for the rest of the season, hopefully sneak in and get into the college football playoff, or else we'll have to buy tickets to the Pop-Tarts Bowl or something like that.
Yeah. You could always match up with LSU in the Pop-Tarts Bowl if you miss it, right?
I think one year during maybe the Charlie Weiss era, they played the Pinstripe Bowl against Rutgers in Yankee Stadium, I think, the old Yankee, and both teams were 7-5 or 6-6, and the bowl was just like the teams were. It was 30 degrees, it was raining, it was 6-3 at the end of the first half. It was exactly what we paid for.
Yeah, it is. And man, after the wild playoff journey and how exciting it was for a full month last year, how long it lasted, man, it would be a really big drop off to play in some no-name bowl game no one cares about. And who knows, Price and Love will opt out. Like a bunch of guys will probably go get ready for the league. It is just going to be just an exercise in frustration, quite frankly.
I think, though, that a lot of those top 10 teams are going to cannibalize each other, though, particularly the SEC schools. Also Miami, right? Are they going to continue the slide? Either you want them to win out or lose out, right? One or the other.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I get what you're saying. Yeah, you either want them to win out and then, make it to the ACC championship, even though it would hurt Notre Dame, I guess, lose 3 games then. So Notre Dame can get ahead of them, even with the head-to-head if they have 3 and you have 2. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And, of course, we want USC to win out, right? Like, unfortunately, fight on, right?
Yeah, you kind of want that for sure, I guess. But man, you just put yourself in a weird position when you start out 0-2. You lose your flexibility. What you end up doing depends on what the teams that beat you end up doing. A lot of complications happen when you don't take care of your own damn business.
Is it mean of me to blame that entire game on Buckner? I mean, I know you blame it on the defense or the D coordinator, but would Nick Saban have even let Buckner back onto the team after leaving to another rival?
The way I look at it is, man, you gave up 40 points at a home, 41 at a home to that team. The Buckner thing was just the cherry on top of the misery sundae. But I have a lot bigger problem with the bigger picture concept of you having an extra week to prepare defensively, and you looked worse and you gave up 41 in your own building. I can't handle that.
That's true. You can't give up 41 really to any team. It really doesn't matter who the team is unless it's like the LSU team of 2018.
Yeah, and here's the other question, man. What gives you any faith Notre Dame's defense would have got to stop in overtime against them anyways? Like the whole thing, you know what I mean? That extra point would have made it an overtime game. What faith did you have? You weren't going to end up giving up 60 once it goes into multiple overtimes or something. Like you just needed to play better defense.
You know what, John? You're right. I hate to admit it, but that game just turns into a 4 overtime loss instead of a regulation loss. Then you just go to bed at 2 a.m. more upset.
Yeah, it's just the Buckner thing was just a pain point at the wrong time, but it was like a one-off random weird occurrence. Playing that bad at defense all game at your building, that was much more of a focus for me was, what the hell, how do you get this defense stuff back together again?
You're right, Johnny. I'm going to let you go, but thank you for taking my call, and I think we're going to win by 70 this week. Remember that.
Ooh, baby, I like that. Happy Halloween, buddy. How much time you got, buddy?
How much time you got, buddy?
Oh, man. And if anybody curses, I have this.
Watch your profanity.
Watch your profanity.
Watch your profanity.
Great success.
It's a very nice.
A great success is what I'm looking for. I don't know what Renee's showing me a bunch of stuff on his screen. You guys are hilarious. A great success. Oh, man. Yeah, that's a good point, Jay Carr. Out of Marcus's 14 losses, how many of them are in a heartbreaking fashion? 7 of them. There have been some really upsetting, devastating Marcus Freeman losses. And the only way you gotta get this thing over the hump and win a damn title, and everything's all forgotten and it's all good. But there has been some really painful moments here for Marcus Freeman and his growth at Notre Dame. Sincerely, worst loss was Clemson by 13. Man, the Louisville one, there's a Louisville one in there that really bothers me and upsets me too. You could feel that Louisville one. It says hi. It says Irish, John. Yeah, I saw that, Renee. Thank you. That Louisville one really bothers me. You could see the one where we went to Louisville that week, building you could feel Notre Dame was walking into a buzzsaw. Their fans were out of their minds. Night game, you knew you were walking into something. And if you weren't ready, you were going to get jumped. And you weren't ready, and you got jumped. You got jumped. Losing to Stanford was unacceptable. I'm going to ask this, and then you guys can tell me if you think it's BS. Do you give any grace to the year one losses? Because it was year one. Roster in flux, new head coach trying to find his way. Do you offer any grace to any of that happened in week one? I don't know whether that's fair or not. Some of you are going to say it's just excuses or whatever. I'm just asking. I don't have the right answer. I'm just asking. Or is it, this is Notre Dame. How do you lose to Marshall and those Marshall and Stanford teams? Totally unacceptable. And don't even get me started about Northern Illinois, right? Like, I mean, come on. So I don't know, you guys. All I know is Notre Dame has got to kick the crap out of this team tomorrow. I don't even want to talk about all of our painful bad losses. Notre Dame's got to kick the crap out of this team. Hope is a dangerous thing. You cannot give a team like this hope at their place. This cannot be a 6-7 game a few minutes into the second quarter. No, not good enough. You need to go out there and you need to kick the crap out of them and leave no doubt. Low blood pressures for us. And then we have a relaxing post-game show in celebratory nature. And then we watch the night games. Watch USC out there. So, I don't know, you guys. All right, that's going to be it for the show. Really appreciate everybody jumping in. Really good chats. Really good callers. Mark with glasses with the creativity. How about some positivity now? Notre Dame should kick the crap out of these guys. Mark it off on the list. Keep it moving. There's your positivity. There's your positivity. Beat the crap out of those guys and get it going. So we'll see you guys on Patreon on the chat, and then you know that I'll be here for the postgame show. Can't wait to see you guys. Let's get this win. Happy Halloween, everybody. Have fun with your kids. Have fun going out. Do whatever you're going to do. Just don't drink and drive. I love you guys. Love this show. Thanks for letting me do it.